Hello, Twitch. Good evening. How are we all doing tonight? Ooh, you guys, you are missing out. What do you guys think of the new background that I got going on? Well, hello, Karina. Doing okay, doll. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Awesome. Awesome. Hello, Amber, Melissa, Lady Ravana. Dough Girl says hi, Twitch. Love the aesthetic. Thank you. You can see even more of it on Twitch. Nessie, hello. Welcome in. How is everybody this evening? You love the new background? Thank you. I love it too. Cece, welcome. Hello. Oh, thank you for the subscription. I really appreciate it. Well, hello, Ashley. Hello, November. Hello. How are you guys doing? I hope everybody had a wonderful day. I am manning Twitch and TikTok at the same time, so if I miss your comment, I apologize in advance. Hope everything's sounding good. Pretty good. How are you doing today? I'm doing really good. Thank you. Emily, welcome to Twitch. And you just did a sub. Thank you so much. Hype train is close. Oh my gosh. We got a hype train starting over on Twitch, you guys. This is insane. Insane, y'all. Wow. Haven't even started reading a single word yet. Amazing. Good. How was your day? My day was equally exhausting, to be honest with you. It was really, I don't know. It was eventful. Let's put it that way. Past couple days have been very eventful. This whole week is like, oh my gosh. Vampkin thinks he's a pupper. I had to explain why he can't play with pups, and he's all spooked. Oh no, not Vampkin. No. Well, yeah, we definitely don't want him coming apart at the seams. Ba-dum-tsh. Hype train is close. Subgift or use bits now to start a hype train. Oh my goodness. Well, hello, Nikki. How are you? This week has been a thing. Yes, it has. Most definitely. So, you guys, I actually want to get into the story sooner than later because, believe it or not, we've got a phone call later on tonight. Yes, it has. It has absolutely become the favorite. Thank you, November Red, for this amazing mug. My Creature of the Night and Sea siren mug. Oh yeah, it has become a symbol of the stream. This is my first time in your live, but you're excited. What are we reading? Tonight, I am reading a selection from The Dark magazine. And I recently discovered The Dark magazine. Usually I just kind of go through and we've got a couple of favorite authors that we do. Not only that, but we also have things that are more like NSFW content on our Discord server that we do off of the public. But when I came across this site, I was really excited. They have some incredible stories. Like, they actually have a couple of Stephen Graham Jones things published. A lot of times I'll do music, and a lot of times I'll do reading as well, because that's what I do. I'm a musician. I'm a singer. I play a lot of instruments. I'm also a voiceover artist. So I don't like to say voiceover actor because then it sounds like overacting. So, welcome. We're glad you're here. Hello. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, this is all stuff that I must know. I don't know if there's anything I can do about that, to be quite honest with you, unless I turn down the music. How's that? William Shatner it? It was a dark and stormy night. There's something on the wing. All right. Better. Okay, thank you. So I'm guessing the sound on TikTok is just fine. All right, let's see. Looking. Oh, Streamlabs has all of our commands up. Thank you, Streamlabs, for looking at all the commands. Because I'm a rock. It man. So. Many stories. I think we're going to be sticking with this magazine for a while, you guys, because I was extremely impressed with what I have read so far, looking for things. I mean, you know, we can get on Reddit and look up no sleep stories all we want and let's not meet stories all we want, but they have nothing compared to the fiction articles that are in this magazine. So that's what we're going to stick with for a while because I think that you guys are going to really enjoy it. All right. So, you guys, I am on Twitch and on TikTok at the same time. So if I miss your comment, I'm sorry. But I just keep commenting and I'll get back to it. You get to see the rest of this background on Twitch, twitch.tv/Siren of Sound, spelled as just as it is up here. Where are we sitting at likes right now? Let's see if we can get over 1,000 likes. Woo! Thank you for the lurk. So, our selection this evening, in keeping with our... Everybody take a shot. Heather lost her train of thought. Already, it happened. In keeping with our... a most recent cover single that we released as a Patreon. Twitch Talk, yes, exactly. I have chosen a story by a Japanese-American author named Angela Liu. And this is a story called Papaka. If you end up liking my elaborate stories, I'll give you full permission to read it out loud. Ah, sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. And welcome to Twitch. Thank you for coming in. All right, y'all. And we have the fancy dancy Ouija tarot tablet holder tonight. We are out of the rainbow colored Tree of Life one. All right, let us begin our tale. This is called Papaka. Papaka thinks he's a frog. Every day, he puts on a full-body frog kigurumi, the soft green hairs worn thin like an old beach towel, and opens his bar in Shinabahashi. He's got a few regulars, the ones who come for a little song and dance he does when he brings over the drinks, but they stay for the conversation. A frog's a pretty good listener if you give him the chance. Excuse me. I think I'm allergic to something in this room right now. This is the second time this has happened in a row. Oh, no. If it continues, I'm just going to keep on going. God bless. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you. Okay. A frog's a pretty good listener if you give him a chance. Rumor has it Tanaka-san's been running that flower shop since the 1840s, Morimoto grinned, red-faced, tapping his empty sake glass on the table. Like, she's almost 200 years old? Ribbit, Papaka asked, refilling his glass. Ashina-san got it in her head that the old lady's a witch, the balding life insurance salesman snorted, picking peanuts out of a small dish. That he used to sell curses and love potions and ochre-making elixirs, the whole shebang, till that got too taboo. Now, it's all fancy 5,000 yen rose boxes to convince someone to love you. Supply and demand, am I right? At least the witches got business sense. Morimoto leaned forward, spilling some of his warm sake onto the table. But Ashina-san thinks that the old hag's gotten back into the old business. Thinks she sold her a batch of cursed sunflowers, and that's why her husband got his student pregnant. Oh, how terrible, Ribbit, Paka said from behind the counter. You better watch out, Morimoto gestured at the vase of colorful Gerberas near the shop entrance with his chin. Those suckers might be draining your bank account as we speak. Paka laughed on cue, taking out a Tupperware of washed shishito peppers from the fridge. He admired their bright green color, the lush grass green that covered the marsh after a long summer rain. But I love Tanaka-san's shop, he said, tossing the peppers into the fry pan. Hot oil sputtered up, the sizzle filling the small bar. Oil splashed onto his hands, but he paid it no attention. A good frog doesn't mind a little pain. She always has the best selection, Ribbit. Dusty, yeah. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Paka closes his shop at 5 a.m. and takes the first train of the day back to his house in Ofuna. It's a long commute, but he likes the quietness of the early morning train, the sleepy gauze still hanging over the streets, the announcements echoing over empty train stations. When he gets home, he passes out on the tatami floor, still in his frog kigurumi. He wakes up at 1 p.m., pulls on a pair of sweatpants and a clean t-shirt as his frog kigurumi spins in the washing machine, and heads out for a jog. The neighborhood kids recognize him because he sometimes hawks free tissues outside the station in his frog costume, plastic-wrapped packs that advertise his bar and feature frog wisdoms like, "Jump as far as you can," and "A lily pad is a great place for a nap." The neighborhood adults know him because of the nasty fights he used to get into with his ex-wife. The rocks down, throwing through windows, cell phones smashed through windshields, laptops dropped from the second floor, just a whole lot of broken glass. The neighbor once found the wife barefoot outside her house. Oh, excuse me. The neighbor once found the wife barefoot outside her house with a watermelon. Thank you. I don't know if it's so much dusty as it is just, I don't know, I might be allergic to something that's going on. Bless me. Woo. Now then. Hi, Urui-san. Happy summer, she said, handing the old woman the fruit before heading home, tiptoeing over the broken glass near the front door. She'd run off after their 3rd year of marriage, taking his sanity with her. Before Papaka met his ex-wife, he was Keisuke Mitsuzani, a 29-year-old salaryman selling electronics at the Yodobashi Camera in Akihabara. He knew nothing about frogs or their eternally wet backs and protruding eyes. He woke up at 8 a.m. every day, brushed his teeth for exactly 2 minutes. He loved his electronic toothbrush. Put on his uniform, ate natto mixed into steaming rice with a bowl of low-sodium miso soup, and squeezed into the Keihin Tohoku line to get to work. He got along with his co-workers, and sometimes got lunch with them at a nearby shop. They were always surprised by how slowly he ate, how he'd nibble pieces of stewed potato or sandwich crusts like a well-mannered mouse. His father had died choking on his own vomit in the back alley bar, and his mother had subsequently instilled a deep fear of improperly chewing his food. After work, he'd pick up a discounted bento box from the supermarket near the station and went straight home. Most nights, he was in bed by 10 p.m. I blame the dusty bear. Yeah, I know. All of these dusty, inanimate, anthropomorphized objects I have behind me. I think I need to dust off all of my sidekicks, including Minnie. Though Minnie did get a bath this week, so just yesterday. I will bet you anything it has more to do with her dander than anything else. Summertime can be a killer around here for stuff like that. One great perk of joining Patreon, we get private Patreon only reading stories. Yes, you do. And we are in the middle of one right now by one of our own community members, Jackson Mars. She is an authoress, and we are reading one of her stories right now. And that's going to last a few more weeks, and then we'll move on to the next exciting thing. Something else that we also have going on next week for patrons only is I recently inherited my mom's jewelry shop. And so one of the things that we're going to be incorporating is her shop, Shiny Things and More, which is like crafty jewelry stuff. And we're actually going to be having a craft day next week. So that's going to be on Discord only, on Discord VC. So check it out. Patreon.com/Siren of Sound. Well, hello, Sandra. How are you? Good to see you. Okay. Let us continue, shall we? Mitsuzani met his wife at a Gokon mixer with college friends. She was a Waseda University graduate student from China, and they were the only two people who weren't drinking that night. He liked how she'd bought her laptop to the bar just in case she needed to do work. Sound familiar? She's kind of weird, his friend warned him after the first round of drinks, noticing his puppy-like stare. Leiko said she'll bring her laptop, even when the girls all go out to watch a movie, just in case. None of them even know what she's so busy working on. Hardworking people are difficult to find these days, Mitsuzani thought, falling fast in love with the young woman. At the karaoke bar after dinner, the woman excused herself to go to the bathroom when one of the men started slurring through Eminem's Lose Yourself and then never returned. Mizutani saw her afterwards at the McDonald's near the train station, laptop open, eating an ice cream cone on her own. He was mesmerized by the look on her face, that shameless, private joy. Not wanting to disturb her, he begged his friend afterwards for her email address. All his friends were surprised when the two got married a year later, holding the wedding banquet in Shanghai where her parents lived. On their wedding night, she looked up at him from the hotel bed, eyes still smeared in red eyeshadow. "Are you happy?" she asked, placing a warm hand on his cheek. "If you're happy, I'm happy," he said, pressing his face into her neck, as if wishing they could be closer. He fantasized about how people would call her Mizutani-san, his other half. When they went to the Tokyo ward office to change her family name to Mizutani, the representative was puzzled by their request. "We have no right to change a foreigner's legal name." So, his wife kept her maiden name. She didn't want children, and she'd never really thought about it either way, so the issue of last names never resurfaced. They had a quiet, peaceful marriage, both going to their respective jobs, taking turns cooking simple dinners, going out to watch movies on the weekends, and occasionally enjoying the warm intimacy of married sex. It was the kind of domestic bliss Mizutani had longed for as a child when his parents fought in the kitchen and he'd wished for their vitriolic screams into yellow and blue flower prints on the concrete walls of his bedroom. Everything passes, he thought, losing himself in the colors. Mizutani never asked what his wife's job was, and she never told him. He only knew that sometimes she'd come home from work without a word and head directly to bed. She'd sleep for 14 hours straight, barely moving. They'd even bought a separate futon that Mizutani unfurled into the corner after his bath so she could sleep undisturbed on the bed. Sometimes Mizutani would open the bedroom door as she slept and stand over their bed, placing a finger under her nose, just to make sure she was still breathing. You got lost in the story and playing Sims 4 on silent. Nice. Well, thank you for the follow. And once again, I'm so sorry that I'm so sniffly tonight. We gotta do something about all this dust and whatever's going on in this room. I feel like holding a finger under my nose right now. All right. Have you ever heard a voice coming from the bedroom closet? His wife asked one day as they ate from takeout boxes. Mizutani was a simple man. He'd never read any of the sci-fi or fantasy stories his classmates had clamored about during middle school. No magic wands or secret kingdoms inside a coat-filled closet. But Mizutani was hopelessly in love with his wife, which also meant learning to believe in things he once ridiculed. "No, I haven't," he answered. "What did it say?" His wife simply shook her head and resumed eating. Pardon me again. I'm just going to stop excusing myself. I need a humidifier. I would love to have a humidifier in this room. All the humidifiers are actually in the studio. Excuse me. Wow. The next night, Mizutani consulted with Morimoto about what his wife had said. "Did she say it like a joke?" Morimoto asked. Mizutani tried to recall his wife's face as she asked the question, but he couldn't remember anything about the bright green blouse she'd been wearing, the fly-like earrings dangling from her ears. She'd never been much into makeup, but she started wearing a lot more lately, her face perpetually caked in a thick white layer that made it difficult to pay attention to her features. "I don't know," he answered. "Have you guys done it recently?" Morimoto asked, forking several strands of the pink mentaiko spaghetti into his mouth. "Done what?" "Sex," Morimoto answered, the tiny pink fish eggs clinging to his lips. Not really. The circumstances aren't so good for that. She's tired and stressed out most of the time." "Do you initiate?" "I do, kind of. Sometimes." Mizutani recalled putting a hand on his wife's hip as she got into bed. The coldness of her skin, the fleshy scar on her arm that she hid behind long-sleeved blouses. She turned away from him, apologizing. "I feel bad, though." "Then that's it," Morimoto laughed, slapping the table like he'd just struck genius. "Get some alcohol, buy some flowers, make a nice dinner, and order something fancy if you don't want to make it yourself. I promise, the second you're in each other's pants, you'll reach an understanding." "Ah, thank you for the cheers." Mizutani's wife was not interested in sex. She spent most of her time meticulously inputting their bills into a spreadsheet she kept on her laptop and watching mindless celebrity variety shows on TV, their chatter and laughter filling the living room like imaginary house guests. On weekends, she went on long walks that returned with bags of fruits and vegetables that just ended up rotting in the refrigerator. He had no idea where she was getting the produce since she never brought a wallet or a phone. On her birthday, Mizutani bought a fresh mango cake from the French patisserie near this train station, ordered sushi from the sushi restaurant she liked, and gave her an 8,000 yen box of preserved white roseate. "They'll look alive for years," his coworker had gushed to him, showing off the item page from a mail-order flower shop where he'd ordered a box for his wife. There were over 600 five-star reviews for the Hiru-based shop. "I hate flowers," his wife said without emotion, stroking a glycerin-sprayed rose petal between her fingers. The television rattled with studio laughter in the background. A few days later, Misutani came home from work to find his wife on the floor of their bedroom. Lady Ravana, there it is. Lady, there it is. Streamlabs, right there. That's some bot that's not supposed to have a link where it is right now. Craziness. She hates flowers, I know, and he was so excited to get them for her. Tomorrow's birthday party, yay! Yeah, now we got to figure out how to get into it and where it is and why it's there. From forever ago. All right. Back to l'histoire. A few days later, Misutani came home from work to find his wife on the floor of their bedroom. She was holding a knife, translucent squares of minced onions still clinging to the blade from the chopping she'd left behind on the kitchen counter. "It keeps asking for my name," his wife said, looking up at him. "Who?" Misutani glanced around the empty room at the ruffled bedsheets and unfolded pajamas. "The thing living in our closet," she said, visibly upset he didn't already know. "The frog." "Frog?" She lifted the knife, and Misutani took a step back. This wasn't the first time a woman in his family had held a knife toward him. His mother had made a show of waving one around whenever he'd come home late. "I was too nice to your father. I won't make the same mistake with you." "He said he wants to go inside me." His wife started crying. "That he won't let me go until I give him my name." Misutani fished out a flashlight from the drawer. Then, holding his wife's hand tightly, they ventured into the closet to confront his name-stealing frog. The closet was filled with her shoes and the winter clothes, neatly packed into mesh bags. Clear plastic boxes lined the shelves, stocked with old stationery and souvenir keychains from weekend trips to beach towns and ancient temples, memories stowed away, dust-free. Unlike this room. Misutani beamed the flashlight over to an old green sleeping bag rolled up in the corner, the remnants of a disastrous camping trip with his wife's graduate school classmates. "Is the frog from REI Co-op?" he teased. A sneaker went flying into the wall, startling Misutani. "He's in there," his wife said quietly, holding the other sneaker. Her heavy breathing echoed in the narrow, dark space. "It'll just make him angrier if you don't believe he exists." Hi guys, welcome in. Hi TikTok. Misutani researched his wife's symptoms and looked for doctors. He offered to go with her to a specialist. "So now you think I'm crazy?" she accused. Their fights escalated like storms, feeding into each other until the both lost control. She claimed the creature sometimes came out at night and stood over their bed, watching them sleep, holding a webbed hand to its wet lips when she woke up and saw it. She began sleeping in the living room with a knife nearby at all times. She disappeared for days, claiming she was too scared to go home. She'd break windows and mirrors during their fights, claiming to see the creature's green face in the glass. One cool fall morning, as Misutani folded the laundry, he heard the front door open. "I made some extra sandwiches if you're hungry," he called out, relieved his wife had finally come home. There was no answer. When he went out into the living room, his wife's bag was on the couch, her keys in the porcelain dish by the door. He heard footsteps creaking upstairs, so he climbed the stairs to the second floor. The bedroom door was open. His wife's brown coat was sprawled on the bed. Her cashmere sweater was on the floor, and a few feet away, her wool skirt and black stockings. The preserved white roses had been scattered on the floor like bone shavings, the gift box discarded in the trash. I'm hungry. He swiveled toward the voice, toward the open closet door. Inside, a flashlight beamed over an unfamiliar face. "Who are you?" Misutani asked. "I can be anything you want," the deep, silky voice answered, even though the mouth on the face had not moved. Misutani could see the vague outline of a body in the dim light, the rail-thin shoulders and bare legs, the dark valley between them. A long, slimy tongue snaked out from its mouth. "What do you want me to be?" the voice asked. "I'll be anything you want if you give me your name. Tell me, what do you want to be?" Behind the creature, his wife's underwear and bra lay crumpled in a pile. "Where is my wife?" Misutani asked, taking a nervous step forward. "Your wife?" "I am your wife." Misutani took several more steps forward until he was at the entrance of the closet. He studied the creature in the dark, the curves above its ribs, the fleshy scar on its arm. How could he be sure this creature wasn't his wife? He dipped a hand into his pocket, his fingers brushing the metal center of a box cutter knife. Before he could move, the creature reached out, touching his cheek with an icy hand. "Give me your name," the voice said. The words seemed to be coming out of his own throat. "I'll make you happy." At that moment, a thought occurred to Misutani. If he gave this creature his name, would it release his wife? Would that return everything to how it had been? That simple, peaceful life they'd shared before? Would he finally be able to see the look on his wife's face again like the night all those years ago? Or was joy, like love, something we lose in our desperation to keep it from changing? He opened his mouth. A breeze blew from the open window, the name snatched from his tongue before he had even spoken it. At that moment, the man felt something like relief, a warmth encasing his bones. Why had his wife been so afraid? A name, like an incantation, could bind as much as free. "Thank you for the meal." I haven't had a story read to me in ages. I was going to fall asleep. You feel so cozy. I'm happy you feel that way. That's a high compliment. Super into the story. It's an amazing story. And there's more, you guys. There's more, there's more, there's more. They have an entire article, every single issue of nothing but fiction. It's incredible. Wind chimes clinked as Papaka entered the flower shop. The old woman was snipping the stems on a bouquet of purple roses. "Good morning, Tanaka-san, Ribbit," he said, admiring several vases of sunflowers, their seed-filled discs like the large yellow-eyed lashes of a beast. "Good morning," the old woman smiled, putting down her scissors. "Would you like your usual? If you don't mind." Papaka's eyes widened with anticipation as he reached behind the counter, the sound of tissue paper crinkling and boxes shifting before she pulled out a small amber ball with a fat fly buried inside. It glittered under the flower shop spotlights like an ancient jewel. Like my glowing ball right there on Twitch. Papaka licked his lips. "Vintage? 5th century Indonesia. I've been keeping this one for a while," the old woman said, ringing up the cost on the register. "I'll have to get a good wine for the meal," Papaka said, taking out his wallet and passing her his credit card. The old woman took off her glasses as they waited for his card to process. "I could also help with that other hamburger again, if you're looking for another she said. The door chimed as a middle-aged man came into the shop, looking at the boxed roses behind the glass display case. They were the best-selling item this season. Oh, these names are still good, Papaka grinned, licking his lips. Still so much love left in them, Ribbit. Audible hopes you have enjoyed this program. The end. With butterscotch moonshine? Oh. That sounds good. Neither of you have access? Okay. We're going to have to find out where the heck that Streambot is coming from. Where that Streamlabs thing is coming from, because that is, like, kind of driving me up the tree. So, once again, that story, the author is Angela Liu, and she's a Chinese-American writer based in New York City and in Tokyo. Ooh. Oh, and look at this. We have more resources to look at, too. Strange Horizons, Nightmare Magazine. Who wants to delve into Nightmare Magazine at some point? What do we think of trying Nightmare Magazine? Melissa, thank you. Yeah, let me know. Her bio says when she's not writing, she's taming a feral toddler and navigating the demonic world of IT consulting. I love it. Not bad. I know it's her first story. This is her first publication. Can you believe? Can you even believe? Nightmare Magazine, yes, yes. We got lots of yeses. Hey, what's up, Rise Guy? Welcome in. How you doing? Good to see you. Oh, man. So I think we have time. I think we have time for one more. What do you guys think? Should we pull another one from the dark, or should we try looking up Nightmare Magazine? Mel to the rescue. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Melissa Good. Let's go. I say let's go. Let's tap, tap, tap. Oh my gosh, we're over 5,000 likes on TikTok right now. Thank you so much. Amaze. Don't forget to share the lives. Share. Do all the things. Do the likes. Do the stuffs. Let's get going here. Let's get as many people in here as possible, because the more people that we have enjoying the stream together, the more fun it is. We get more commentary. We hope it works. I hope so too. Fingers crossed. That woman in a cape. You guys, speaking of capes. Oh, you have no idea what's coming. No idea. I'm so excited to show you guys what is next on the docket. You're tapping that screen. Oh, I love it, Rise Guy. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, you guys are just going to be... You're going to be blown away. When I show you guys what is coming up next. Tap, share with all your friends and that beautiful host. All the gifts. Thank you, Amber. Yes, please do. Super mini. No, it's not mini. It's not mini. It's more elegance, and savagery. We got exciting things going. Oh no, I triggered your brain. Oh no, your brain is broken. No capes. It's a cloak. I have a cloak. Why am I not wearing my cloak right now? Oh, I know why. Because it was 102 today. And at one point it got to be 109. It was just fabulous. You love the lights? Thanks, Rise Guy. Thank you. Oh, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate that, Doe Girl. I'm glad that you're here with us. I'm happy that you're enjoying what we're doing here. All right. So, I've got a cloak of invisibility. That would be amazing. Then I'd be able to infiltrate. The heat has been awful. I know, it's been ridiculous. Redonkulous. Insanity, you guys. Yes, I'm putting my feet up because why not? Super Steven. Oh no. Oh no. No, no, no. This is I'll show you. Though that would be hilarious. And by the way, you guys, by the way, thank you to each and every one of you so very, very, very much for liking liking the Sharp as a Track recording studio Instagram page. Thank you so much, you guys. You pulled through. Like, Steven was blown away at how many people dropped a follow on that page. Thank you. And you're going to be seeing some awesome content from him too. He's getting more in on the game, y'all. He's seeing what we're doing and he's liking it. You're just awesome. Oh, thanks, Rise Guy. You're awesome too, man. You really are. You're so supportive. You guys are. I see a lot of the same names on everything all the time, consistently, and you're all just incredible for being so supportive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you guys are if you guys want to take that next step and get even more involved in the community, if you love what we do here, definitely take a look at that Patreon. It is in the link in my bio on TikTok. And so if you click up here, you get amazing perks at every tier, including photo shoots with little Miss Minnie Mouse, who's behind me sleeping tonight. You see her down there? She's sleeping in her little bed. She has a music dog's bed. It's really cute. And we have exclusive covers. We have Discord-only events that have been launched within the past few weeks. We have photo shoots of just about everything. BTS, behind-the-scenes content for our band's music, videos, and whatever else I happen to be doing at that time that I want to share with you. So, thank you very much in advance for your consideration. Hey, how are you, single mom? Good to see you. Welcome in. You are just in time because we are just now going to be starting our second story of the night. And this one is going to be a little shorter because I do have believe it or not, I do have a phone call later on. I know that sounds crazy. All right. So here's the most recent one from the Dark magazine. And we're going to go into Nightmare magazine next time. We do this every week. We do this every single week on Twitch and on TikTok. Twitch Talk, as we like to call it around here. Somebody got it really, really soon. I'm okay. Doing all right. More excited now that you're here and that all you guys are here and we're sharing the story together. So, this is called A Game at Clearwater Lake by Jillian Daniels. We were in 5th grade the February we played hockey on the lake. It was Ryan, Becky, a few other girls in our class, and I. It was my idea. Recently, I had seen curling on TV for the Winter Olympics and thought we could figure out how to do it with real stones and evergreen branches as brooms. But Ryan wasn't interested and Becky just nodded politely. It must have sounded to them like the time I got really into Swiss Family Robinson and wanted to build a fort in the woods with the kids I babysat. When I instead said hockey, though, Ryan and Becky lit up. The rink in town was being used by the boys in our class that day, and the snow had melted enough that we could ride our bikes to Clearwater Lake. Well, hello. How you doing, Cap Caveman? Good to see you. Everybody who is on TikTok right now, put some emojis in the chat for this wonderful, wonderful guy right here. He is an incredibly amazing supportive person, and I appreciate you so much, dude. It's so good to see you, and I hope you had an amazing day too. When we looked down at it from the top of the hill, he stood on the ice. He was black pupil in the center of a white eye. At that moment, I should have known what sort of story I was in. I used to yell at characters in horror movies who split up from the group or went into the basement without turning on the lights. I threw popcorn at the screen, which always made Ryan laugh and Becky smother her giggles. Maybe I didn't realize it because when you just think of yourself as the hero of your own story, you don't realize you're a bit player in someone else's. It's just a kid, I told Becky and Ryan. It looks like a boy. Should we wait for him to leave? Becky chewed on the end of a string from her hoodie. Her bobbed hair stuck into her round cheeks. She looked like Snow White. Ryan shook her head. Nah, we should tell him to fuck off. You don't see girls named Ryan anymore. She was singular, even then. He might be angry. He was here first. Becky chewed on the string now. Who cares? I saw some of the other girls arrive. Among them were Natalie, Sarah with an H, Sarah without an H, Katie, Katie with a C, and Katie with a D, like in Katydid, which was a bug you get in that part of Ohio. They looked as baffled to see the guy as we were. While Ryan and Becky argued, I went to the edge of the lake, sat down, and laced up my skates. I wanted to start the game before it got too late. Back then, being impulsive seemed like the grown-up thing to do, so I didn't tell them. I shifted my hockey stick and goalie mask under my armpit, pulled myself upright, wobbled on the ice until I found my footing, and skated out to talk with him. As I got closer, I saw how still he was. I thought he was a statue until I saw his shoulders rise and fall. It was when I got closer that he abruptly turned away. I saw the back of his head, a scalp of stubble, like he had been bald and it was just growing back. His ears stuck out, and his neck was bare and tinged with pink. I tried to skate in front of him, and he twisted away from me again before I could see his face. He seemed vulnerable, shy. The idea of asking him to leave felt mean. Taking a break, I used my babysitter voice. You can stay here if you want, but we're going to play hockey. We need a goalie. I held out the mask. Do you want to play? Silence passed between us. I heard snow bend a tree limb and hit the ground in a soft heap. He turned slowly, moving like he was underwater. For a moment, I saw brown eyes with long, dark lashes and a small, flat mouth. A normal kid, as blank-faced as a doll in a box and a plastic shell before you tear it open at Christmas. Then he moved like a cobra on a National Geographic special. He snatched the mask and strapped it on. I looked down in surprise at my empty hand and then back up at him. The mask was a little big. It turned his eyes into round, dark pits. He nodded. I smiled at him. I hoped he'd smiled back under the mask. He continued to stare at me without moving, so I let the smile drop and gave him the stick. At least he won't stop us from playing, I thought to myself. I skated back to the other girls and told them he was the goalie now. If they didn't want to play with him, they could go home. Ryan shrugged. Becky began to chew on both her hoodie strings at once. Natalie and Sarah with an H glared at me for inviting him to play at all. Not like death glares. Their mouths just became grim, but they couldn't say anything. We tried to divide up into teams, but Sarah without an H and Katie with a C weren't talking again. They had the sort of friendship where they fought every day at recess and never wanted to leave each other alone. I felt Ryan and Becky were easier to hang around. They made me happy and warm. Just play the one goalie hockey, Ryan nodded toward the boy out on the ice. I was about to shout at him to ask if he still wanted to play as the only goalie, but he was already nodding back. I don't know how he heard us. I tilted my head toward Ryan. If he's not going to talk, at least he's a good listener. She laughed. It was about that time I noticed he didn't have skates on, just heavy boots with thick soles. I had mentally given him skates when he wore none. I knew that was wrong in some specific, critical way. The wind whistled hollow in my ears. I couldn't find a moment to say anything. We started to play. Also, we never played games that weren't interrupted. I don't remember one that didn't have some sort of incident. Sarah without an H and Katie without a C yelling at each other, Natalie falling down and crying, or a parent stopping everything to grab a kid who had promised to sweep the kitchen floor and hadn't got around to it yet. Me. Clearwater Lake was free from parents, though, and everyone was into the game. I didn't want to risk ending it too soon. Anyway, the boy was good. Even though he moved slowly, we only got the puck past him once. Of course, it was Becky, with her little snow-white face. Her nervous tics and her bashfulness around strangers became fury when she was allowed to justify it. Becky hit the puck with a furious swipe. The boy went down on one knee to block it, hitting the ice hard, but it slid right past him. Oh, who the emojis were for? Oh, they're for Captain Caveman, because he's awesome. Becky hit the puck with a furious swipe. The boy went down on one knee to block it, hitting the ice hard, but it slid right past him. We cheered. It felt good to scream together. He was upset by this. We didn't see it behind the mask. I personally don't think he was. He just stood back up and kept going. It was just part of the game. We were almost done when we finally had an accident. Ryan was the toughest of us in many ways. She wore black nail polish, rarely smiled, and it was the first of us to swear. But on the ice, she was about as sure of her skates as a baby deer learning to use his legs. You didn't notice at first, because she was Ryan and breathlessly confident. You saw the occasional leg tremor, or how she would sometimes stare at the ground too long as she tried to find her balance. She was staring at her skates when I ran into her. I tried to right myself, but one of my legs went out wrong, and I flailed my arms. The ice came up to meet my face, and I skidded forward. Becky pulled me up and guided me to the shore, looked at me, and gasped in that theatrical way she always did. My nose pulsed with what felt like a new bruise. I touched it. When I pulled my glove away, it was bloody. It didn't feel like a break, but it did feel like the end of the game that I wanted to play all winter. I began to cry, big, embarrassed tears spilling down my chin and my throat. I felt stupid for crying like a little kid, like the dumb little girls and boys at the hockey rink that we were. And with that thought, I cried even harder. My face grew hot. Everyone followed us off the ice to see what was wrong. Our silent friend came too. He took long, dragging steps rather than bladed glides, but he walked with purpose. The ice didn't fight him. Damn, does it hurt? Ryan stood close, probably guilty that was kind of her fault, even though I hadn't been looking either. I sobbed. What do you think? Cartman?
Ryan did not argue. She just took some Kleenex out of her coat pocket, damn it. She didn't even seem mad that I was mad. I think she just assumed everyone was furious all the time, like she was some kind of people and were better at hiding it. I think that's why she and angrier than we knew Becky got along. Our masked friend reached out and took the packet from her. I didn't even realize she was there until I saw his glove in front of my face. It was a gardener's glove, stained with dirt, not a winter's glove made to keep out the cold. I was so transfixed, I stopped crying. Carefully and gently, he pinched a tissue out of the packet. Then he pressed it into my nose. It was soft. He motioned to his long nose, where his nose would be under his mask if we could see it, and he pinched on the air. I copied him, pressing my nostrils shut, you guys. The tissue grew dark with blood, and I looked up at him and I murmured, Kiki. He stepped back and let his arms fall to his sides. He didn't move from the spot. Not when we left the shore, and not when we took our bikes up over the hill and through the old summer camp entrance. I forgot to ask him for my hockey mask. In the afternoon light, I saw the old cabins falling apart and the amphitheater covered in snow. My dad always told me that the lake had can and resist freezing for as long as it can during the winter because it's a drowning lake, you see, not a skating lake. He went to the camp when he was a kid and the first time it reopened. It's opened and closed 5 times since then because of various accidents which included drowning. Right now, the camp is open again. Though between no one could have presented these tragedies.
It makes sense though because we have what, 5 friends?
Oh my God!
Yeah. Yeah, Amber, that was Lady. She's in trouble. She's fired. Admonished. Banned. Grounded. Unfriend. Officially unstaffed. My nose wasn't broken, which was nice. I didn't spend much time thinking about the boy because I was distracted. My period started the same week. On our way to pick up my first pack of Kotex, Mom also helped me buy a training bra. I didn't think much of either event, but they took up space. My body was shifting all around me, even as my mind seemed to remain in place. When I was 14, I came back to the lake. It was a dark night in May, a prom night. I remember because a high school senior had deigned to invite self-conscious freshman me. His name was Luis, and his family had moved here from El Salvador last summer. He saw me playing volleyball once and said, "Wow, you have moves." He had a dimple tucked into his cheek when he smiled. Everything felt fuzzy and bright when I saw it. He parked his car at the shore and killed the engine. Joy radiated out from inside me and made me grin like an ape. I felt cool and attractive, and despite only having ice water with a lemon wedge at a prom, drunk. At last, I was dating a handsome boy. I was going to kiss him and have sex. I was going to be normal like everybody else. I leaned forward to whisper in his ear because that's what you're supposed to do. "What kind of cologne are you wearing?" My satiny dress hissed along the leather seat. He cracked up. "I'm not wearing cologne." "But you smell so good." There was a dark mole under his neck. I kissed it. Luis jerked away. "You're fast, huh?" I pulled back. "I am? We've known each other for what, a month?" Now I was confused. This was what you did, right? You went on a date and fell in love and were married after high school? I felt like I'd missed something. But you brought me out to Clearwater Lake. Is that important? Teenagers screw here. I looked out at the black water. Something moved. The boy in the mask was the furthest thing from my mind at that moment, but, again, I didn't know the whole story. His eyes grew wide. "I just wanted to talk." "But you invited me to prom." I no longer felt like an adult, but a whining kid. My dress felt too short, so I tried to smooth it down over my thighs. Luis wrinkled his nose. You're nice. You remind me of my kid's sister. I just wanted to see if you could help her babysit my cousins next weekend. Will you be there? He winced, cleared his throat, and looked straight ahead. I knew he had messed up somehow. Oh, yeah, no. Sorry. My girlfriend's gonna be in town. I wanted to cry. Instead, I exhaled anger. I opened the car door and got out. Again, an impulsive decision that felt adult, especially because I was embarrassed. I'll see you at school, I yelled. Luis was shocked. No, I can drive you back. I'll call my friend. I stood still. It was warm enough before the prom that I didn't need a coat. That had changed, and the evening was cool. Eventually, after a few more minutes of trying to get me back in the car, Luis gave up and drove off. I heard something splash in the water. It was eerie, and I realized that, yes, refusing to hide from Luis was a bad idea. I called Ryan. She came 10 minutes later, even though she only had a learner's permit and borrowing her dad's car was a pain in the ass. We sat at the edge of the lake. So, I'm an idiot, I finally told her. She clucked her tongue. This dude literally asked you to prom. You dressed up super hot. Becky did your hair. And he didn't realize that it meant to park with a girl. Man. I'm pretty sure he's the idiot. But I assumed a lot. My earrings were from the mall and made from a cheap metal. I was beginning to think I was allergic because my ears hurt. I unhooked them and squeezed my hand into a fist. I threw myself at him. He said that? Uh-huh. Okay, no. I think he wanted to cheat with you and chickened out. That was his guilt talking. Are you sure? Doesn't matter. You're gonna find someone who's crazy about you. You're pretty, you kill at sports, and you're the greatest. She squeezed my shoulder. I wanted to cry. No, you're the greatest. I know, I'm amazing. It's a cure. She released my arm and smiled. Now let's get the hell out of here before we see that kid again. As soon as she said it, I knew what kid she meant. I smiled. What's he gonna do? Play hockey with us again? Ryan's face soured. All that time we were at the lake, he didn't talk and he didn't breathe. Remember? I'm pretty sure I saw him breathe. His shoulders arched up and down, at least. Did you? Because there were no steam clouds coming out of his mouth. And, come on, it was cold. Some days I thought, yes, maybe ghosts did exist. Maybe aliens were out in space somewhere. And dragons and books were just dinosaurs who survived long enough to be seen by humans. That day wasn't one of them. Maybe he was just out there a long time. She snorted. Well, yeah, I have a theory. I think he's the first kid who drowned here, and that was his ghost. My dad had told me about why camp had closed the first time one rainy car ride when I was little, and we were getting Wendy's. Everyone in town knew the story so well. It was less a story and more part of the landscape, like the quarry or the hill by the school where kindergartners raced to the top and then rolled down. How could a ghost block all those pucks? Ryan laughed at me. Dude, call the ghost police. Tell them one of their dead people isn't following the rules. Who knows? She started her dad's car. Becky told me she's doing a movie marathon. You want to show up at her house and yell until she lets us in? I let the ghost boy theory drop. Let's buy chips or something at the gas station on the way. Maybe at Walmart. We can get those candy bracelets where you eat one candy at a time. I love those. Hell yeah. Ryan backed up and headed toward town. When we rounded the trees, I saw him out the passenger window. He was taller, but he still wore the mask. In the high beams of Ryan's car, it blazed white, a condemning specter. I was too shocked to scream, but I grabbed Ryan's hand on the gear shift. She jumped, laughed, didn't stop the car. You okay? I looked at her. Didn't you see him? What? Of course, when I looked back at where he was, there were only trees. I told her, and she was quiet for a long time. Guess I'm never coming back there again. Seriously? I like ghost stories. I don't want to be in one. I laughed because I thought she was joking. The next time I came back to the lake, it was summer 4 years later. A rich guy from Cleveland bought the camp and wanted to reopen it. It didn't matter to him who had drowned or who had been found with an axe buried in their brain. The police probably hadn't told him either. I didn't have the excuse of being ignorant due to fabulous wealth. I was foolish because I was distracted, again, but this time by college and the prospect of moving away. If I ever saw the maybe ghost boy again with his hockey mask, I decided I would say hello. If he could hurt me, I figured he would have done it already. Like me, Becky became a counselor at the camp. She hadn't gotten into her top choice school and thought it might be because she wasn't well-rounded. After her first semester at her safety school, she told me she was planning to reapply. She said this as she gnawed her fingernails. I was plenty well-rounded. My senior year, hockey, track, and the student newspaper were all things I did to keep myself from climbing the walls. I felt like I had outgrown the town and I had energy to spare. Marriage? Ha! I would give that energy to the summer camp at Clearwater Lake and then to the wide world afterward. It happened. I slept with a fellow counselor, Ed, who smelled better than Louise had. Ed was from upstate New York. He laughed a lot, told stories where he waved his hands in expressive circles and had a beard that felt nice on my face. His mouth tasted sweet, and he was enthusiastic about using it. After an evening together in his cot, I found myself wanting those large, warm eyes turned on me as much as possible. The counselors were me, Ed, Becky, Becky's boyfriend Kevin, and Katie with a C. We spent the day cleaning and decorating the renovated cabins and mess hall. As a reward, Kevin used his fake ID to buy us beer. Chrissy, I know you're itching to do it again. Do it again. Go ahead. I wandered to the shore, light-hearted and pleased with myself. Further away, I saw Ed laughing with Becky and Katie with a C as they drank and listened to music around the fire pit. I suddenly felt like there was nothing special to separate me from the others. Like them, I was a girl from the same town with no small talk to make because everyone else had already said the things I wanted to say. To Ed, I might as well have been a clone. The night was cool, I was hazy, and I was older than I had been before. Emily, you're grounded. You do it, you unfriend. It's always me do it. All right, go right ahead. Chrissy gives you permission, so it's okay. I guess it's okay. The night was cool. I was hazy, and I was older than I had ever been before. Drowsy, I took off my clothes so I could go swimming. Beyond a babysitter who had a soft spot for Swiss Family Robinson and watched curling on TV, I knew I would be different if I was naked. Wouldn't they all be impressed? No, I will not lose my waifu over Twitch points. That is it. I am packing everything and I'm leaving and I'm becoming a frog. We're done. It's over. Ribbit. Am I frozen? I'm frozen, aren't I? It's frozen. Please hold. I think I need to refresh my camera. Huh. Wow. That's exciting. Okay. There we go. All right, I'm back. Yay. All right, I can see it. Yep. I just had to refresh it really quick, guys. I'm sorry about that. Good timing. Good timing. All right, you guys. We're back. We have returned to the Twitch of it all. Yes. Negative. No frozen here. Hello, Brian. Brian. How are you doing, Betsy? Good to see you. Welcome in. I don't know how long you've been here because I've had my nose stuck in the story. Yeah, Twitch was twitching. Oh no, the stream, it's broken. Well then. So, our narrator is back. When I started to swim toward Ed, I was disappointed that I felt like the same kid I'd always been. I drifted in the cool, amniotic water, melancholy but safe, until I wasn't. Never not funny. Under the lake's surface, my eyes opened against the dark green murk, and I saw him in his mask. He's grown, was my first thought. Ryan was right in that we didn't know the rules were for him. I still don't. I know there's something that tethers him to the lake. He isn't the child that drowned, exactly, but those remains were possessed and nourished into a soldier by Clearwater. Whatever passes as consciousness in his head belonged to an angry dead kid who can never leave. That's why I think he takes care of children and he thinks are good. He doesn't protect the ones he thinks are bad. He wants to stab everything in the world that can't do what he can't. It hurt. It still hurts when I think of trying to swim away. He grabbed my long hair and pulled me to him. His blade pushed through my chin and up through my jaw, behind my nose and skewering my prefrontal cortex. The pain rose and continued to rise without distance or space to contemplate it. Then, the abrupt choking. Clouds of blood in the water. Felt like the Kleenex he once held to my face. I felt the anger at my friends on the shore who were oblivious to what was happening 5 yards away. My future slipped from me as I inhaled water. The last, semi-coherent thought that attached itself to my guttering limbic system was, This is like being screwed without joy or love. Then my body was just that, a body. The thing that has continued to exist without my body, the me that refuses to dissipate with my flesh, muscle, and bones. I guess if that's what you call a ghost, that's what I am. I learned to see without eyes, to understand without the spark of neurons in a brain. Ed, who wanted to impress so badly, died after me. This gorgeous, bearded boy who planned the color war with such an unironic enthusiasm, who I kissed between giggles and snorts, and who talked about wanting to be a vet because he liked cats. The creature from Clearwater Lake threw a javelin through his chest, collapsing his lungs. He choked on the air and went quiet. A stupid end like his life was a bad joke. What was left of him dissipated quickly, a spirit that hung like dew on the grass and then became mist. He didn't have the impulse to linger like I had. Katie with a C was after Ed. She was a girl who cried when we watched Cinderella in elementary school, and who all the other counselors knew and still slept with a stuffed elephant, but never teased her about it. He pushed her into the fire pit and held her there so she couldn't crawl away from the blaze. He caught Becky's boyfriend, Kevin, in the mess hall. I never warmed up to Kevin, especially not after he started dating Becky, who I thought deserved some kinder and more reserved. He had the habit of bragging about his grades and chewing with his mouth open when he wanted to annoy us. He talked about being the genius inventor CEO of a tech startup in Silicon Valley. I liked him best in junior high when he shared his Iron Man comic books with me, even though I didn't like them much. Oh, very much so. Friday the 13th. Hell yeah. Hello, Brian! By the way, guys, give it up in the chat for Brian, for Bat Bri, because he is done with school. Congratulations. Congratulations, you graduated. Congrats. Yay. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. And we all need to know, at some point, what is next for the Bri. Seriously, we love you. We love you. Look at all of those emotes in the chat over on Twitch for you, man. So happy for you. We're all so happy for you. Why? Why are you in front of a girl that you just took to the prom? And now you're all being chased by Jason? Not even Jason can knock you down, man. I'm so proud of you. So. So proud of this kid. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So excited. Thrilled. All right. I gotta finish this thing. The Clearwater Lake creature brought his head down on the edge of a lunch table repeatedly. When Kevin was a red, meaty pulp, he was thrown aside. I hated watching it all. I started to pull away. The world's knowledge began to flow through me as I understood the structures of cells and the logic of dark matter. Focusing on one moment, this horrifying present, was too much when the entire universe started pouring into me instead. Without a body, I was no longer limited to the senses I used to have or the concept of linear time. Then I heard Becky scream. It pulled me right back down to earth. I saw her, wearing her rage and the blood spattered across her face and white tank top. I found his machete, and incongruous as that stupid mask, and faced him next to the lake. Becky screamed and sliced through his chest, angling through his heart. It was done with the same fury she had used to swat a puck past his ankle a winter long ago. I don't even think she connected that this was the same boy. When she fell, he rolled into the water and sank down, looking up at her with holes for eyes. And Becky laughed. The girl who had cried right along with Katie during Cinderella and who called every spider Charlotte because of Charlotte's Web. Right then, killing him killed her right back. Morning came, yellow and pink, breaking over the sky like a yolk of a bloody egg. Police and paramedics arrived with sirens that washed the cabins in blue and red light. A man in a boat and his diver friend pulled the body that used to be mine out of the water. One of the officers said, "This one took drop dead gorgeous a little too literally, huh?" The diver didn't find the Clearwater Lake creature because the lake had absorbed him. The cops already decided Becky was deranged, that it had been her who killed us. That hurt worse than anything the officers said about me. Where I am is a place where I can almost see that I would have been. A college student who excelled at academics to everyone's surprise, including her own, who made a pivot to biomedical science when she realized she could cut into corpses with relative detachment. She became a surgeon, married a poet from Oberlin College, and traveled to her spouse's family home in Rhode Island where they settled and one day started a family. There are surgeries this person who could have been me did that would now be done by someone else, if they were to be done at all, and children that I had that would never exist. A woman who would have loved me and been my wife would now go on to love someone else. All the possibilities of my future collapsed into no, not for you. I also see him. When he kills, He does so in increasingly ludicrous ways, as if taunting the town to acknowledge him, to stop pretending all the people he kills are accidents. The lake takes him back every time, dressing his wounds. His body is something he wears as loosely as the mask, something he encountered and latched onto because he made it easier to exist. As an entity, I think he was there before anything resembling a child ever swam to Clearwater Lake, a shallow left behind by some long-ago ice age. He's part of the life cycle here. In the late winter, when he surfaces, he's a child. In the spring, a teenager. And in the summer, a full-grown man. That's usually when he decides to play a game whose rules I'm not privy to. If he doesn't decide to kill and autumn comes, I watch him become an old man. By winter, he curls up like a wrinkled seed pod waiting to begin again. Like him, my domain is now the lake and her forest. I hold on here because I can finally see all the moving parts of the story. I just
want to know how it ends. Becky, I hope, escaped the blame for our death. If she went to prison, I want her to be out now, having great sex and drinking margaritas in Cancun. I hope Clearwater Lake is a chapter in a long, storied life, that after that summer is now free from a waterlogged zombie taking his Freudian frustrations out on her and her friends.
New in here, what's being read? It's a short story from The Dark magazine, and I'm also streaming on Twitch. And somebody just redeemed a Cartman. You're impressed? Awesome. Hi there, Ben. How are you? It's so good to see you, my man. I have known Ben for many, many a year.
Ryan went back on her promise and visits the lake. Now, sometimes she brings Katie with a C's best friend, Sarah without an H. They laugh and weep together. It must be hard to be on the edge of something terrible and be closed off from it. Last time I saw Ryan, there was gray in her hair. My parents visit too. They grow leaner with the years. Every time I see their faces, it's a surprise.
Hi, pizza.
I hope they don't think of me, at least not the way I died, in the wet, sad dark. I try not to think of me too. My sense of self erodes with each new season. I became the air particles and dust motes in the sunlight, the ice that crystallizes along the lake. I grow closer to oblivion, and it feels like peace. I was angry at him a long time. The anger has fallen away. Instead, I feel pity. Even dead, I can grow and change. He cannot. I will outlast him as I forget myself and I become part of the chlorophyll in the leaves and the ants crawling through the grass. He remains as remote and as inevitable as a cold winter that brings children who cheerfully play hockey over a lake of the dead. One day, I hope he'll be cut loose from Clearwater Lake, that someone will finally kill him until he is earnestly smoldering anger without fear. Then, when he burns himself out, I will be the breeze that blows his ashes away. Screw you guys, I am going home. Bam! It managed. Oh, I see. So what you're trying to say, Emily, is that you are totally not screen recording this right now. What good are you if you don't screen record after you cash in your own mermaid tier points? Oh, Tori, excuse me. I'm sorry, Tori. How was work? sorry. I'm sorry. Lady Ravenna says you are unwaffed. Unwaffed. UNWIAF. You. That's right, F-U. Ben, unfriend, unwife. Divorced. My mom and my dad got divorced.
Ben, admonished.
Admonished. Ben. Blood. You're fired. No, whatever. Whatever. I do what I want. So you see, right now. Oh, I'm sorry, Emily, I'm sorry. I said, Emily. Emily, I said, how would you like to suck my balls? That's right, I do what I want. Screw you guys, I am going home.
My makeup is fire. Thank you. Thank you. It's a combination of 3 different Jeffree Star palettes tonight. Plus my beloved Wet n Wild liquid cat suits. Lippies.
Screw you guys, I am going home. Hey, I'm sorry, Lady Ravenna, I would do it again. I'm sorry. I said, how would you like to suck my balls? Mr. Garrison.
All right. Guys, gorgeous Whip says. Well, you get to see it. You get to see it. We're going to be on a phone call shortly. Y'all. You get to see it on a completely different screen. Good. You better be. All right. Y'all. Venus, hello. Welcome. Chrissy. Oh, Chrissy's here. Chrissy, wake up. Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this. Sweetheart. I feel so privileged. Oh, I don't have my fangies tonight. I'm not wearing my fangies. Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up. See, that's what we were singing, trying to beckon you into the live on Monday night because we did your song. Yeah, they're all doing it on Twitch too now. You are never, ever, ever going to live it down. Never. Not once. This is going to be it for the next year. Yeah, Yellow Power Rangers here. Her new anthem. She's in trouble now. She's in trouble. All right, you guys, one more time before I sign off. Chrissy's got the song, I've got the coffee beans. And that is because you are the what? The legend. The woman, the myth, the legend. Coming this summer. Don't get the cool lines. Welcome to Never Gonna Live This Down, Bill. Right? I know. Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this. Just wait until the next piano night. As a matter of fact, we're going to turn it into something you can cash in on Twitch. New Rick Dole. New Rick Roll, yes. OMG, right? Well, that's all we're going to play for an hour and a half straight. We're just going to play Chrissy Wake Up for an hour and a half straight. That's it. It's going to be the end of the stream. Speaking of, never going to live this down, never going to let it go, never going to run around. Never going to ever let you forget it. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole stream. That's the entire thing. Join Patreon. That's what you get. I'm there. I know. That is the kind of quality content that you are sponsoring when you join. It's an 8-hour stream of just that. It's like those 10-hour videos of it'll be Chrissy Wake Up for 10 hours, but it speeds up every time. We're here for the quality content. That's right. And you get it in droves when you join the Siren Grotto. And you really do, guys. I'm just going to go right ahead and fire segue that in right there. You guys, you get, speaking of, like, half of you people did this. Till it sounds like the Chipmunks, and then there's a hidden message. Yeah, and then we have to play it backwards for 5 hours. And it's going to be, Chrissy, wake up, Satan is God. Okay. All right. Who's had 2 hours of sleep? 2 hours of sleep up top. I'm so glad I can't choke on ice cream. Ice cream actually sounds really good right now. I have lime sherbet. Because of course I do. It's green. You need rest? Don't need rest. What are sleep? What are sleep? We don't know her exactly. Right? Karina's with us in the no sleep till next stream club. Yes, green. Lime and raspberry sherbet. Ooh, that sounds really good. We cleared out the orange sherbet. You know what I was thinking might be really, really good is orange sherbet with this chocolate cake. I made a mean espresso chip frosting for that chocolate cake that Stephen made. Oh, yeah. You're a zombie? Oh, that's another song. That's another song that's going back in the set on Monday nights, on rock and metal nights, on request nights. Telling y'all. So next week, next Wednesday, for those of you who are on Patreon, for those of you who are in the Discord, we have some exciting things going on. Next Wednesday evening, we're looking at like 6:30, 7 o'clock start time, Pacific Standard Time, is the very first Shiny Things Discord-only VC, where our very own Sultana will be teaching us how to paint some rocks, and it's going to be really fun. We're just going to have a good old crafty day together. So, look out for the announcement on that. No wonder we got 2 hours of sleep. Well, you know it's all your fault. You were the one who kept me up all night. No, I'm kidding. But what if we're already dead? That's a great point. Well, we are. I mean, you know, take it from an 888-year-old siren. I mean, it ain't all it's cracked up to be. Oh, yeah, that was 2 nights ago. I'm sorry. That's, what can I say? Revolving door. The harem is real, you guys. It is real. All right, you guys. I actually have to get ready for the next thing. So I am going to turn off the stream at this point. Keeping me awake now. You know what it's like. Well, okay. All right. I'll play fair on that one. Turnabout is fair play. You gotta work all day, and all night. I don't know. I don't know, Cece. Talked. That's the euphemism that we're going with, huh? Okay. Love you too. Love your face. Oh, Ben, it was really good to see you too. And by the way, everybody, if you're not following Ben, right here, I'm trying to point to your chat right here. If you're not following him right now, you better go ahead and drop him a follow because he does some amazing, amazing science of the vocals. We were a couple of choir nerds together when we were little baby Bens and little baby Heathers. But he is doing some incredible things here on TikTok, and if you're not following him, then you need to hurry up and follow him. It's true. Oh, no, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all of you, all of my elegant savages, all of my merfolk. And if you guys don't know the reference for elegant savages, that's a lyric in Foreboding, which that's all I'm going to say about it for now, but elegant savages, all of you. Savage. Good night. Love your faces. I hope you have an amazing, amazing night. We're going to see you again in a couple of days. Elegant Savage is like it. Yes, yes. I'm going to have to talk to you more about that one too, Ashley. Big time. Love you too. Love you too. I love every single one of you to the ocean's edge. Have a wonderful night. And bye. Good night, Twitch. You guys are amazing, amazing, amazing. Love your faces. Thank you so much for cashing in all your crap tonight. Thank you. Really appreciate it. All right, so I'll turn it on some more. I'll turn on the Cartman again on reading nights. Why not? Man.